Pennsylvania, 13 million people. The Liberty Bell, the Declaration of Independence. Amish country. Philly cheesesteaks. Nobody thinks twice about Pennsylvania. That is a mistake. Pennsylvania is hiding places that have been studied by scientists, investigated by federal agencies, and quietly closed to the public. And no one has offered a satisfactory explanation for any of them. Some are geological, some are historical, some are ongoing. Right now, as you watch, this is Dark Geography. We are not talking about ghost stories passed around campfires. We're talking about documented anomalies, verified events, places where the physical record and the official record are both clear and both incomplete. Pennsylvania has 7 of them. Today, we go to all 7. In 1962, someone lit a fire in a landfill on the edge of a quiet coal mining town called Centralia, Pennsylvania. The fire found a seam. Coal seams don't behave like surface fires. They don't burn the way wood burns. They travel underground, following the fuel, going wherever the coal goes. And in eastern Pennsylvania, the coal goes very deep. The Centralia fire has been burning for over 60 years. Not metaphorically, not residually, actively burning, beneath a town that once held more than 1,000 residents and now holds fewer than 5. Ground temperature readings in parts of Centralia have registered above 900 degrees Fahrenheit, 3 feet below the surface. Steam rises through cracks in roads. Sinkholes open without warning. Route 61, the highway through town, was permanently closed after the pavement cracked and buckled from the heat underneath it. Geologists modeled the fire's spread. Their projections are not reassuring. At current rates, the fire has enough coal to burn for another 250 years. Nobody put it out. At a certain point, nobody could. The US Postal Service eliminated Centralia's zip code in 1992. The remaining residents hold court orders, allowing them to stay until they die, after which their buildings revert to the state of Pennsylvania. The town is still there. It is simply no longer for the living. Take Route 32, north out of Bucks County, and you'll find a boulder field that has no business existing. Ringing Rocks Park sits on 7 acres of diabase boulders, volcanic rock, dense and deep, the kind of rock that should produce a dull thud when struck. Instead, when you hit these boulders with a hammer, they ring, clear, sustained, metallic, like bells, like something hollow, like something deliberately tuned. The first formal scientific investigation was conducted in 1890 when Dr. J.J. Ott brought a brass band to the field and performed a concert using only the boulders as instruments. This has been independently verified. The concert was real. What hasn't been resolved in 130 years of study is why. Geologists have mapped internal stress fractures in the rock. Some theorize the resonance comes from tension build-up over thousands of years of freeze-thaw cycles. But here is the problem. Identical diabase boulders from the same geological formation, tested in laboratory settings, don't ring. They thud. Something about this specific location, the arrangement, what lies beneath them, the way they interact as a system, produces a phenomenon that has not been reproduced anywhere else on Earth. You need the field, You need all of them together. Science writes it down. Science just doesn't always publish what it finds. In 1908, Pennsylvania opened a facility in Spring City called the State School and Hospital for the Feeble-Minded. It was later renamed Pennhurst. The name didn't matter. What happened there did. Pennhurst was built to house children with intellectual and developmental disabilities, to house them away from the world. By the 1960s, it held over 3,000 residents in a facility designed for a fraction of that number. Residents slept in corridors. Staff-to-patient ratios made individual care a structural impossibility. In 1968, a local television journalist, Bill Balladini, produced a documentary called Suffer the Little Children. What Balladini filmed inside those walls was later classified in federal legal proceedings as systematic abuse. Children restrained, residents kept in their own filth, medical staff recording unexplained injuries in official documents without investigation. Some residents had broken bones. Many died without family notification. Pennhurst closed in 1987 following a landmark federal lawsuit that established the legal right of institutionalized persons to receive treatment, not simply containment. The buildings still stand, 70 acres of them, locked, crumbling, and quiet. Urban explorers who have documented the interior describe a particular kind of silence there, not peaceful, but accumulated, the kind of silence that forms in a place where screaming happened long enough for the walls to stop echoing it. Whether you believe in residue, in places retaining something of what occurred inside them, there is no question that this ground absorbed decades of undocumented human suffering. And the buildings have been standing there ever since. We have 4 locations left, and they get stranger from here.
If you're watching this without subscribing, now is the time.
We shift from institutional horror to something older. In Pennsylvania Dutch country of York County, there is a hollow called Raymayer's Hollow. On November 27, 1928, a man named Nelson Raymayer was beaten to death in his own home by 3 neighbors. The murder was brutal. What made it stranger was the reason. The man who organized the attack, a farmer named John Blymeyer, believed Raymayer had placed a hex on him. In the Pennsylvania Dutch tradition of folk magic, known as pow wow, hexes were not a metaphor. They were medical reality. Blymeyer had been ill for years, unable to eat, unable to sleep, documented as wasting. A local hex doctor told him Raymayer was responsible. Blymeyer went to Raymayer's home twice. He asked Raymayer to give him his spellbook so the hex could be reversed. Raymayer refused. On the second visit, Blymeyer and his accomplices beat Raymayer to death, attempted to burn the body, and burned the spellbook. All 3 were convicted. Here is what doesn't resolve cleanly. After Raymayer's death, Blymeyer's health recovered completely. His chronic illness, documented in medical records, unexplained by physicians, disappeared. His lawyers noted this at trial. The prosecution noted it too. No one offered a satisfactory explanation. Raymayer's Hollow still exists. The house still stands. Local residents still don't go there after dark. Not from superstition, they say, but from what they call respect. There is a difference. When Eastern State Penitentiary opened in Philadelphia in 1829, it was the most expensive building ever constructed in the United States. The design was deliberate, a radial plan like a wagon wheel, with cell blocks extending from a central hub. Every cell received a single skylight, a shaft of light the architects called the Eye of God. Prisoners were kept in complete isolation. They ate alone. They exercised alone. No human contact whatsoever, sometimes for years. Charles Dickens visited in 1842 and wrote what he experienced there disturbed him more deeply than anything else he encountered in America. He did not call it harsh. He called it torture. He used the word explicitly. The Pennsylvania system spread to prisons across Europe. Solitary confinement as architecture, as philosophy, as moral science. Eastern State held Al Capone. It held Willie Sutton. It held approximately 75,000 other people over 142 years of operation. It closed in 1971. Since then, maintenance workers conducting routine preservation have reported voices from sealed cell blocks, movement in corridors with no access points, figures in areas that have been locked for decades. These reports began in the 1970s from people with no incentive to report paranormal activity and significant professional incentive not to. The Pennsylvania Bureau of Corrections has never officially commented. Eastern State operated for 142 years on the theory that total isolation produced rehabilitation. The data did not support that theory. They continued anyway. Whatever accumulated in those cell blocks did not leave when the prisoners did. In Potter County, Pennsylvania, there is a mine shaft that produces ice in summer and has no ice in winter. This is not local legend. This is a documented, measured phenomenon recorded since the 1880s. From approximately May through August, the warmest months, the shaft fills with ice. Thick, clear formations, photographed and measured by independent researchers. Tourists visited in the early 20th century specifically to see it. In September, the ice melts. By winter, there is none. The accepted explanation involves cold air trapped in rock fissures during winter, slowly releasing into the shaft through late spring and summer, producing a refrigerating effect at exactly the wrong season. The mechanism makes sense on paper, but the surrounding geology does not fully support it. The fissure depth, the air circulation pattern, and the rate of ice production don't match what the model predicts. Several peer-reviewed papers have described the mechanism as consistent with the theory, not explained by it, consistent with. There is a distinction. The mine still produces ice every summer without fail. For over 100 years, Potter County does not advertise it much anymore. But it's there. We end with Bedford County. On a specific stretch of road near the town of New Paris, cars in neutral roll uphill. This is not a trick of perception in the way that phrase is usually applied. Independent measurements using sealed spirit levels have confirmed the elevation grade. The road does not descend in the direction cars appear to roll, meaning the cars are, in fact, rolling downhill. But the visual experience is so completely wrong. The horizon, the surrounding terrain, the tree lines, the relationship between sky and ground, that the perceptual override is total. Your eyes tell your brain the car is climbing. Your brain believes your eyes. The instruments say otherwise. The phenomenon has been documented at sites worldwide. Gravity Hill in New Paris is among the most verified, most measured, and most consistently disorientating examples on record. Here is what stays with you. The instruments are correct. The road descends. The physics are normal. But standing there, watching a car drift, watching gravity appear to reverse, watching something your every instinct interprets as impossible, it doesn't feel like an optical illusion. It feels like the ground is lying to you. Pennsylvania is beautiful. Pennsylvania is old. And Pennsylvania, as it turns out, keeps its secrets better than almost any state its size should. 7 places, verified, documented, officially unresolved. Not the postcard version, not the tourist map version, the version that was here before the tourists, the version that will be here long after. This is Dark Geography. Subscribe and we'll take you somewhere else entirely next time. Where should we go? Leave it in the comments. We're always listening.